Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admins. The message reads like this. I remember that day like it happened yesterday. It was in August 2009, just 5 months after our wedding. My husband, Mandla, not his real name, was my everything. We were so in love, planning our future together, dreaming of starting a family. We had just returned from our honeymoon a few months before. Life was supposed to be beautiful, filled with the promise of happiness and new beginnings. But that day shattered everything. It was a typical morning, and Mandla was driving to work. I still don't know what exactly caused the crash. They said that maybe the brakes had failed. All that I know is that by the time that the paramedics arrived, it was a little bit too late for my husband. When I arrived at the scene, I started crying. I did not even care how many people were watching me. I did not even care. His car, it was damaged beyond recognition, and so was my heart. The love of my life, the man that I had vowed to spend forever with, was gone. Just like that, in an instant, my entire world fell apart. At the funeral, I could feel the weight of his family's eyes on me. They were not just mourning the loss of their son. They were looking for someone to blame, and that someone they decided was me. It all started with gossip, things that you think people will never say about you. She must have done something, they would say. Why else would such a young couple be struck by such tragedy so soon after their wedding? It's cruel how people can just cling to any explanation, no matter how absurd, when they are faced with something they cannot understand. Within days of the burial, his family started accusing me of bringing bad luck to their son. They said that it was my fault he was dead, and the reason as to why they were blaming me because I had taken so long for me to get married. I did not have a child. Maybe she is cursed, his auntie, one evening said. Another relative suggested that I might have angered their ancestors somehow, or maybe I was a witch who had bewitched her own husband. When they said that maybe I was a witch, I could not even believe what I was hearing. I was grieving, broken, and the very people who should have been comforting me were now tearing me down. But it got so worse when they brought in a Zangoma, a traditional healer, because they wanted answers and they were willing to go to any length to get to them. The Zangoma arrived at the house a week later. I remember sitting on the floor in the middle of the room. I was the main suspect, surrounded by my in-laws. The air was really thick with tension, and all that I could feel was my heart pounding in my chest. The environment was no longer friendly for me. The Sangoma started performing his rituals, throwing bones. All the while I sat there in silence as he was calling the name of my late husband, praying for some sort of resolution. When he finally finished, he looked at me with grave expression and said, "The car that he died in is cursed. That car is cursed." His spirit is saying that the car is cursed. His spirit is restless. His spirit cannot see who killed him. He cannot rest until we cleanse the car. There won't be no peace. I did not even understand what he meant. Cleanse the car. How could washing the vehicle he died in do anything to bring peace? But the Zangoma was not done. He went on to explain that the only way to prove my innocence was to show if I was not the one who had caused my late husband's death. I started crying, and the Zangoma said that it was not going to do me any good to cry, for the spirit of my late husband was there with us, even though there was something that was blinding him, making his spirit not to be able to show his relatives who had caused his death. I was told that I was supposed to drink the water that had been used to wash the car. I felt sick to my stomach, like drink dirty water. water that had been used to scrub the blood and wreckage of the car where my husband had died. It sounded insane, but the way that the family was looking at me, I knew that I had no choice. If I refused, they would never stop blaming me. I would always be the woman who had killed their son, whether I had actually done it or not. So I did it. I let them wash the car, and when they brought me 2 cups of that filthy water, I drank them both. Mind you, they washed the car using just clean water. No soap, no what. It was disgusting. I just drank it. Everything about it was horrible. But I swallowed every drop, hoping that by doing this, I could finally lay the accusations to rest. Afterwards, nothing happened, and they said that they were sorry because they had blamed me since I was innocent. No sudden revelations. They said that if I was the one, I was supposed to run mad on that same day since I had drank almost his blood. There were no spiritual or supernatural signs. I thought that maybe that was the end of it. His family will stop blaming me and I can grieve and move on in peace. But that was not the end. It was only the beginning of my nightmare that would haunt me for years to come. The next few years, I tried to move on. I kept to myself, avoided my late husband's family, focused on rebuilding my life. But no matter how hard I tried, I could not shake the feeling that something was not right. I had a strange dream, like this was in 2016. It started with a single dream. I was laying in bed alone. Then I saw a snake. This snake entered into my room. At first, I was frozen with fear. I tried to wake up to scream, "Snake, snake," to my other brother and his wife. But this snake, it seemed as if it had made me to be totally paralyzed. The snake climbed onto the bed. It wrapped itself around my body, and then it started to make love to me. It slept with me. When I woke up, I saw that there were some sperms that were coming out of my private parts. So I could not understand what had happened, since I had not made love to a man in a very long time. So I just dismissed this and I said maybe it was a very weird, wet dream. Night after night, it kept on coming and coming. And then I started dating. I dated a man who ended up beating me, saying that I had given him an STI. Yet the last man that I had slept with was my husband. So these effects, they started showing in my real life. No man wants to be with me. And even if I try to date a man, to throw myself even to a man whom I can see that is not my type, but the way that the man will punish me and hate me, you will feel sorry for me. I went to another Sangoma to seek answers. When I told him about the dreams, he looked at me with so much sadness and he said that the snake is not just a dream, it is also coming to you in real life. Like the moment that they made me to drink that water, they attached the spirit of my late husband to me. So he is always with me. He's like a spiritual husband, even though I thought that I was proving my innocence, but his family still, they want to punish me. That Sangoma told me, and he said that my mother-in-law, was the one who had already spoken with the Sangoma because she wanted that specific ritual to be done on me to wake up the spirit of her own son. So her son is the one who became the snake. Each and every night when I go to bed, I am haunted by these dreams and the visions that I have, not knowing if it is going to happen or not. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with this translation.